Here we go. Friday. Go to denverguitarorchestra.com and get the links that we're going to be working on. And I'm going to go post the link to this session right now. If you are watching the recording, I'm not going to start for about 3 minutes, so fast forward. That will save you sitting around waiting for wondering what in the heck I'm doing. Let's see. Thursday. Whoops. Let's read this. Friday, September. Friday, September 11. Link to join! Exclamation point. V. Link to join. Highlight. Where's the link? Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window. Update. Let's cut that off. Cut. Update. Oh, it's supposed to be in orange, not in green. Come on, Gary. Get your color scheme together. Orange. Bold. All right, so we're posted. And now everybody will come rushing in here to join us to play some guitar. If you're new, I have a 4-level program, and it works, and you should do it. Level 1 is one chord songs. The foundation for everything you do in fingerstyle is laid in level 1 on 5 very exciting songs that you probably don't want to work on. But Brother John Ferrajaga played 2 different ways. Row, Row, Row Your Boat, Farmer in the Dell, and Three Blind Mice. That's the level 1 program, and it will absolutely get you started correctly. Then after that, level 2 works on switching between chords and works on actual fingerstyle work. Level 3 is public domain songs with whatever chords are in there. We finish your study of arpeggio picking and chord changing, bar chords, that type of stuff. All of the really the complicated and unfun stuff now shows up in level 3 that you got to know, right? And so that's what we do there. Let me finish posting this on our archive page before I lose it. If I don't do it right away, then I forget, and then I come back a couple of days later, and I'm like, how come I never did that? So this was I wrote 9th, and this is 10, and then I need a colon, and then I need to delete this part, and then I'm going to, this is green because it was at night. Orange is just during the day, and green is at night. That's the sophisticated color palette that I have going on the Denver Guitar Orchestra website. It's mostly blue and orange because the Broncos, our local sports team, our local football team, is blue and orange. So back in the day when I designed this site, I thought I will make it blue and orange for the Broncos. I had no idea that we would be working with people from out of town. So if you hate the Broncos, believe me, I've had to watch them the last 3 years. I'm not not a fan anymore either. So hopefully, though, you're not watching football, you're playing guitar, right? All right, so let me see. Everybody should be rushing in right now. Some people are already here. Hey, Vic. Sound is getting louder, so this is good. Is that good? Um, Yeah, it might be different than sitting at home in my other house. You know, I have 2 completely separate systems. I decided I would have 2 completely functional but different systems, with one at the house and one here in the studio, in case one just exploded, right? And so the system here is much more old school than the one at my house. It's all more or less new stuff over there. So it's 1080p, and the camera's better, and the sound system that I use to get it into the computer is much fancier. This one is pretty much duct tape and baling wire to get this one in here. And then the lighting has changed because the sun is getting further south, so it's hitting the window really weird. I did put in a screen here, but it's not doing enough work. And Evelyn just sent me some information that I will use to see if I can't put some kind of filter on the window or something. I'm also going to look at just getting a darker curtain. I only have shears on in here, and because usually it's too dark in here, but for these broadcasts, it's like, whoa. So yeah, so we'll work on it. Happy Friday to you, Evelyn. Glad to see you here. Pauline, I'm here for this class. Sorry to miss This morning I had business at the villa. Business at the villa. So I don't know what business at the villa means. I hope that that's a good thing. um, Back in the day, when I was growing up over here in Lakewood, we had a shopping mall, Alameda and Wadsworth. Today they call it Belmar, and they put one of those fake downtowns in there, and it's giant Victoria's Secret and all this stuff. But back in my day, it was a regular indoor mall, and that's where you went when you were out of school. You would go down and hang out at the mall, and I didn't do that because I always had to work. But all of the cool kids would go do that, and it was called, and I'm pronouncing this correctly, Villa Italia. Villa Italia is how we pronounced it. And you would go down to the Villa Italia, and it was the only thing on the other side. I mean, we lived on the west side of the suburb, and it was the only thing on the other side of Wadsworth we would ever go to. You had no reason to go on the other side of Wadsworth except to go to Villa Italia. My mom worked downtown, and so she would have to ride the bus downtown. And at 5:01, she was on that bus riding it right back to Lakewood. Oh goodness, let's tune this guy up. So I haven't been here in the shop all week, and it was freezing, and now it's still pretty chilly in here, and everything's out of tune. Everything's covered in dust from all this fires going on, and so I'm a mess. If you're level 1, I ask you the question: what's the phrase that pays? Boy, those are way out. So the phrase that pays, somebody should have typed, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. That's the phrase that pays. Okay? Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Eadgbe. Okay? So whenever I ask, what's the phrase that pays? You should say, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. You should also own a snark, right? You've already bought it and it's on the way. $18, crazy price, worth twice that. So I don't get paid by snark. I just know how much better it is than everything else, and so you should get one. Let's see. Pauline says, "Oh, sorry, it's Villa Montalvo, which is an art center in Saratoga." Not a shopping. Well, way better art center than a shopping mall. They bulldozed Villa Italia. At the end, it was dangerous to go into. They just sort of let the place run down, waiting for J.C. Penney's lease to expire, I think. And at the end, they had all these weird little shops that were, I don't know. They're like, "You want to pay rent for a little while? Okay, fine." No credit check necessary. It was terrible. And so, yeah, good. I bet Villa Montalvo was awesome. I want to go there. And I do apologize, guys. I've been having a million texts today because of stuff going on at my villa, and I'm just needing to stay on top of it just a little bit. It looks like I'm okay for right now. Um, it's Friday. Friday is the day when we just play. We don't try to. I try to teach you as little as possible on Friday. Try to do a little bit of review, but for the most part, we roll into Friday, the idea is, hey, we're just going to play the 4 songs from the week, see how we're doing, take a little quality check of what things we need to do next, talk about next week a little bit, and then we move on. So it's usually a pretty short lesson on Friday, and it's really designed for us to be this moment where you figure out where you are, what maybe you need to work on over the weekend, that sort of thing. So I want to start with Frere Jacques. That was our level 1 song of the week, first level of everything that's important. The big takeaways from this week for those of you who are newer players was, 1, can I tune my own guitar? Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Okay, that's unfortunately, until you can do that, there's no point in proceeding anywhere else. If you're here in town and you take one of my face-to-face classes, that's the first thing. You walk in the door, I tune your guitar up. We have a lovely conversation about why your guitar is covered in dust. I make fun of you a tiny bit right off the bat, just so you know what you're getting into. And then from then on, I expect the students would tune their own guitars. I, of course, double check them and all that. But since you guys are all scattered or all over the country, I can't do that. And so you have to be able to tune your own guitar. Eddie, hey, Dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. Probably, uh, I don't know what to say, how important that is. It's such a foundational skill. Some places don't even talk about it. It's just that uh, essential that every time you pick this up, you double check the tuning every single time. Bruce Springsteen has a guy, right? It is his job to make sure when they give a concert, they probably have 20, 30 guitars under the stage. And there's a guy, and it is his job to make sure everyone is 100% ready to go. And I guarantee you, he's got a snark. Um, Second thing that we talked about this week for level one, how are you holding the guitar? I'm holding a regular classical guitar here, and this was probably worth $50 from Sears back in 1940, and it's worth about $30 now. And so the quality of the guitar may or may not matter, but how you hold it does. If you want to play with it sideways, you can, but if you're making your life much, much, much more difficult, there will come a point when you're a famous guitar player and you're standing up at the microphone screaming into it about your long lost loves. Um, and that guitar will be around your neck with a strap, and that guitar will have dropped down in front of you, and it will magically be in classical position. So it makes sense for you when you're sitting at home and you are practicing that you practice in classical position. And so that guitar drops down between your legs, super awkward, super weird the first few times you do it. After a while, it's just what you do. You don't really think about it anymore. But when you are level one and I'm saying, yep, you should drop that guitar down between your legs, and you're like, I don't think I want to do that. That's not what cowboys do that I see on Johnny Cash show or whatever. Yeah, uh, watch any person playing the guitar standing up. This is the position it's in. Um, it's spinning again for a second time. I think it's this time of night and not the studio or home internet. Yeah, Evelyn, shucks, that's such a bummer because today we have had a little better experience with YouTube than I have been having at the house. I haven't had it just, I did one time have a little bit of a hiccup, but not terrible. But I do think at the end of the day that it's something to do with YouTube not being able to keep up. But I don't know for sure, Evelyn. And obviously, I can't even begin to imagine, the fact that I'm sitting here in Lakewood, Colorado, talking, and you're in Cuenca, Ecuador, and somehow within a second or within 10 seconds, I'm there. So I'm hoping your internet clears up. We'll find. I guess we'll find out over the next few days. I'm going to try to broadcast more from the studio for a while, and see. And then I'm going to go back to the house and then see what happens over there. So we'll keep at it until until we figure everything out. Okay, I do think the internet's struggling with so much online going on. Third lesson from the week for level one. Do you know your E chord? Okay, index on 3, first fret, middle on 5, second fret, ring on 4, second fret. Okay, let's go through. We're going to play it twice. We're going to play all the way down through measure 8, come back up, play back down through measure 7, and then we're skipping measure 8 because that's your first repeat, and we're going to measure 9, your second repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Let it ring out. I'm holding my E chord. The guitar rings for a while in order to just shut it up. I don't just flop my hands down on top, but I'm going to drag my palm up over the saddle. and over the bridge, and then there you go. By the way, if you ever want to know trivia, everybody calls this a bridge. Okay, it's not all the bridge. The part that's hooked onto your instrument is the bridge. The part that your strings sit on is the saddle. Okay, so we often have to on any type of these instruments when we repair them, we pull the saddle out to make adjustments to it. On an old guitar like this, it's in here solid. It isn't coming out. I've tried to get it out a million times because I'd like to lower the action on this just a smidge, but I can't do it because the saddle doesn't come out. And that's typical on these old cheap guitars. But if you ever want to, tell somebody they're wrong, they'll call it a saddle when they mean the bridge, and vice versa. All right. There's your E chord. Next thing we learned at level 1 was to play the melody, and this is your big test for today. How are you doing on this? Okay, let's give it a try. We're playing the guitar melody line one note at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time from the top. Okay, so hopefully that if you're level 1, if you're newer to guitar, that's going pretty smoothly for you. Want to play that E chord, want to be able to sing and strum, want to be able to play the melody. Now, I don't ever expect level 1 people to play the tough axe. I always play it for you. But if you are wanting to see the future of what you're going to be doing, that's what tough axe is. That's where we combine the chord and the melody. This song is rather challenging the way it is arranged, because it goes pretty far up the neck, which means that you can't just use your regular old E chord when your melody is way down here. And so I've written out the tough axe here. I'm going to play it for you. And for those of you guys that are working on, hey, I'm getting to be pretty good, I might start my nephew or my grandson or my next door neighbor on, and I said 2 boys and an anonymous person, or your grandmother. Let's make sure we're not being ageist or sexist. If you're getting ready to get somebody else started, this is the piece of paper you start them on. But I don't ever work with them on tough axe on level 1 because it's just too hard. These 1-chord songs are too hard, and so. But I do like to show people what it will look like. Okay, so let me give you an example of what tough axe, when you're ready for level 2 and beyond, looks like. That's the last note. And then and I could have ended it with there. If I had done measure 9, I would have given a great big strum at the end. But what you see going on there is I'm playing some part of the chord along with adding in the melody on the top, and together they end up sounding pretty cool. They end up sounding really pretty, and it sounds like something that you could spend the rest of your life working on. And all of the top guitar players have spent their entire lives working on just that line. And so just know that's where I take you. Okay, so if you're newer to me as a student, or just generally speaking, newer to the guitar, that's where we're going to get you. We're going to make you all the way. Vic says it feels good, man. All right, let's go. Let's crank up the difficulty. Right, let's move on to level 2. Level 2. All this week we have been working on Tom Dooley, which is a fun little tune. I think when I publish version 3 of this song, the book that is out right now, the piece of paper that you have in front of you is from the second edition of Level 2. I'll probably make some changes to this one. It's really meant to be played as a plucking type song, but the old school cowboy tunes like this, you probably really do want to play a lot of thumb down, and I just feel like Major 5 has presented me with some a little bit more challenge to it than I want it to be at level 2. But let's go through it. Let's make sure we know the chords. Okay, first one is a D chord, index on 3, middle on 1, and ring up here on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. Okay. On D chord, you'd rather hit just the bottom 4 strings, but if you hit the 5th string, it's okay. What was the last chord I played? Just an E chord, yeah. Sorry, Pauline, missed your question. All right, so now we're on the D chord, and we're going to combine that with A7, which is right above it. Back. Okay. 1, 2, ready, play. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. For boy, you're bound to die. You met her upon the mountain, and there you took her life. Why'd you do that? Met her upon the mountain, and you stabbed her with a knife. You're a lowlife. Reckon this time tomorrow, reckon just where you'll be, down in some lonesome valley. You'll be hanging from a white oak tree. I can't tell you how angry it made me that they wrote the song about Tom Dooley and not about the girl who got stabbed. It just makes me mental that this song is a pretty good song and it's a perfect level 2 song and everything's great about it except it's wrong. And so anyway, that's it. It is what it is. So D chord and A7, that's going to come up in your life every single day you play. Pretty much you're going to play a D chord and an A7. So get where you're comfy with those. Let's play the melody one note at a time. Guitar line for you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 4. One more time. Okay, there's your melody, 2s and 3s and 0s, even if you're level 1, right? That's something that you can be working on, just working on getting the melody out. The most important thing that we learn in fingerstyle guitar is melody first, chords second, and so you really do. You can take all three, every book you can get, all 3 of the books that are on the website and just start playing the melodies. That'll do you a huge favor if you are working to get up to full fingerstyle speed. Okay. Uh, we didn't talk about arpeggio playing here, but we should have. Uh, Arpeggio playing is really a level 3 type activity, but on level 2, especially on a simpler song like this where you have your Ds and your A7s, it's a good one to just practice this where it's thumb, index, middle, ring. Let me give you the example, see if you can jump in. Grab your D chord, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. Hang down your head, hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head, change your chord, and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, and or you're bound to die. Okay, so that's arpeggio playing. Same chords, everything, nothing changes here, but instead of either plucking them all at once or strumming them all, you are plucking them in a specific pattern uh, to create just a different texture to what you're doing, especially if you're a singer. That's a really easy, fun way to make your guitar playing sound a whole lot better than it does already. Um, okay, next up, the tough axe line. And again, level 2, this is an area where we spend a lot of time on when is getting you ready to play true fingerstyle material. With this one, it's really just thumb down, okay, or plucking, either one. So we'll play it through 2 times. First time I will do the strum, and the second time I'll do the pluck. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. The thing is giving me fits all week. Measure 5. You're coming in at an A7. Yeah, you just gotta hold an A chord. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on that later, but I think there's something wrong with this song. So I'm gonna work on that arrangement here a little bit. I'm gonna write check that. Okay. I should be able to play that without it turning into a weird thing. All right. So anyway, there's the Tom Dooley. It's a nice song. I would way rather just strum and sing that one, or than play the tough axe on that one. But obviously I want you to be able to play it all the different ways. All right, Tom Dooley. Enough of that. Book 3. Let's go grab our Book 3 exit song. This is actually a super challenging arrangement, and where's my copy? RST. While my guitar gently waves. Am I in the right thing? How come I don't have it in this book? I have had it in there all week, haven't I? All right, let me go grab it off the website. We are working on, give it just a second. There it goes. When the Saints go marching in. Why don't I have that? Oh, there it is. God. All right. When the Saints go marching in. Jeez Louise. If I could alphabetize, that'd be fine. So, what I did with this level 3 song, and those of you guys that are advancing as ukulele or advancing as guitarists, this is important now. I want you to really hear this. This is one of the very rare times. Major, it shouldn't be a D chord, Val or Vic. I'm sorry. It looks like a D chord. It looks like from the it looks like from the tough uke arrangement that it's a D chord, but it's not. It's an A chord, and I think that's what keeps throwing me. As I keep looking at it, and my eyes are like, "That's a D chord," and I'm playing it as a D chord, but it can't. It doesn't work because it has to be an A7 chord. So I am going to take a look at that, Vic, and then I will probably post you guys an updated version of that because it just doesn't feel right the way I have it arranged. It looks exactly like the D chord, the D measure from measure one, and I know I did not copy paste it, and it does work, but it needs some extra stuff, and so I think I outsmarted myself on it is what I did. So I will fix that and get a new version of Tom Dooley out to you guys. This is why it's good for me to play this stuff. Usually I'm just standing there watching you play it, and so sometimes I'm playing. I'm like, what was I thinking here? So yeah, I'll get you an updated one that makes a little more sense. Let's look at When the Saints Go Marching In. And what I was trying to get to is that this normally my goal is to arrange things in the easiest key where it's very playable, where you're just going through and just getting your skill sets in place. But this one was different. This one I wanted the very last song in book 3 to be a real challenge. Okay. And so it's an easy song, but not in the key of C on guitar. And so I put it in the key of C on purpose just to give you one of these chances to say, all right, Gary says it's hard. I'm going to make this thing work. Okay. So first, let's talk about the chords. C chord, I've never been a huge fan of the C chord, but here it is. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching. Now, very folk music-y kind of feeling. These two go up, and this drops down to G7. In, oh Lord, and then you go right back. These two down, this one up. 1, 2, and then to get the C7, you have to add your pinky third string, third fret. You get that 7 sound. Be in that. And then you go on to page 2, you got a big old fat F chord. Number. Oh, when the. And then back to C chord. Saints go. Back to G7. Marching. Let's go from the top. 3, 4. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Let's do it one more time. Oh, when the saints 2, 3 go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Okay. These chords, C, G7, and F, are all best friends. They hang out on piano. They hang out on ukulele. They're tremendously great friends, and because of that, you as a guitarist have to be able to play them. Even though on guitar, none of them are very particularly friendly, and you'll see a lot of folk musicians playing a lot of these chords because they're actually, and we talked about it earlier this week, G, C, and F. With very little motion here, you can get all 3 of them faked out kind of, and And so you'll see a lot of folk musicians use these particular chords, but they're not really guitar friendly. They're just not. They I don't know. They just they're way too much work on this instrument, and but you got to learn to play them. So it's a good exit test point for people who are like, "Yep, I think I really do enjoy playing guitar. Give me something that's going to make it not fun." Here you go. Okay, let's play the melody. The melody is really very straightforward. And those of you level 1, level 2, level 3, doesn't matter. Should be something that you should be able to knock out. Remember that rests are important on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4, rest. 3, 4, rest. 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4, done. Okay, and again, it's designed to be repeated 6 times. Okay, you can decide how many times you want to repeat it, but whenever you're done, skip 16, play 17 and 18, and then you get out. Okay, so the melody itself is not a ton. There's not a ton there. It's a good one to practice getting speed on, right? See how fast you can play it. So it's kind of fun to practice speed on. But it's 1s and 3s through the whole thing, which is kind of fun. We'll skip the arpeggio today because we're going to wrap it up here. Tough acts. Grab your C chord. We're going to walk through it real slow, and then we'll play it. Okay. 101. Put your C chord back together, pinky on 3. Then these are just play them down. There's your pinky, 4 strings, full C chord, and then I've been grabbing a G chord and then adding on my ring in 3. C chord at 10. Add your C, add your pinky to that C7. Then jump it back down to get the 3s. And then here you run out of fingers. So do pretty much what it says. 1, 2, 3. And then add a pinky on at 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, pinky on 3. And then change it to a little mini bar on 1. Okay. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 3, which is this chord. C chord with your pinky. No pinky. C chord with your 1. Or G chord with your 1, sorry. G chord with the pinky. And then back to C chord. Okay, let's go to the top. We'll play it through with me with my mouth shut. 1, 2, 3, 4. that blue major 12 there. I went ahead and grabbed the full F chord when I just moments before told you not to do that. That's what you got to do. You run out of fingers if you do the full bar chord there. All right. So tough level 3 one on purpose, right? Again, just to get you thinking about, hey, yeah, I got this. No problem. Okay. All right. Finally, today we are working on the song Summertime, and it is out of the book 4, and it is hard. Okay. The big challenge with book 4, as we discovered last night, most of you that are working on this were there, and it is hard. The E augmented chord is really unpleasant in a lot of ways, but it's the only way to make the song work. This song is all about the augmented E and the augmented A, and they're relatively unpleasant to play on a guitar. Now they'd be fine on piano, but they're really not that fun to play on this. But it's in order to make this sound right, you got to do them. And so if you're newer, just play the melody, right? It's fine. Let's let somebody else take care of the chording. And let's just play this through one time. Play it any way you want to. We go all the way down to measure 32. Then we come all the way back to the beginning and play it again. Okay? From the top, just one time, or just play it as written one time through, and we'll call it a day. Call it a week. 1, 2, 3. I hit the first note wrong, second note wrong, and then I just couldn't get beyond it. Let it go, Gary. Make your last bad shot be your last bad shot. 1, 2, 3. shoot. Second ending. Yeah, it's getting there. That E diminished is really, really tough. And my pinky is continuously being a little bit of a trigger finger, so I'm going to have to cut it off. It's just not going to work out me and this pinky. So, all right, that's a pretty tough way to end a week, but mess around with it. I definitely think at the very minimum, playing that melody, just playing that melody and seeing how cool you can get it would be awesome. Um, we're running out of summertime here, but I think if you're south of the equator, you're running into summertime, so it might be a fun one to have. And it might take you until next summer to get good at it anyway. So that's it's one of those songs where you don't have to play it in time, right? You just play it whatever it happens to come to you. Beautiful. Thank you again. Have a wonderful weekend. Good weekend to you too, Evelyn. Thanks for being here. Vic, Pauline. I think that's everybody who at least said hi. And a couple other you guys hanging out over here. Have a great weekend. And I will see all of you on Monday. Monday, we start a new set of songs. I don't remember what we're going to be working on right off the top of my head. But I know we start book 3 over again. And then we will. Let me just go grab that. That'd be kind of fun to talk about real quick. Let me just see sheet music. So next week, instead of Brother John, we call it Frere Jacques, which is Frere. It's the same song but arranged with in the key of A. So we get to learn a new chord for level 1. Level 2, we go on to Wheels on the Bus. That'll be fun. It's really just about practicing F and C. That's all we do on that song. And then book 3, we start over again with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. A vous dirigez maman. It's actually very delightful. I can't believe it takes us 30 weeks to get through book 2, but we did it. So that's everything I know for us to work on, and I will get the website updated and ready for us for next week. And you guys have a great weekend, and that's it. Okay, have a great weekend, you guys. It is beautiful. It is hard. If I could play it well, it would be very beautiful. But it's going to be a challenge for me. As there's all the level 4s, right? The level 4 should be a challenge. That's what we're after, is getting to the point where everything is hard to play, and then that gives us something to do. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna pull the plug. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see all of you Monday.